Hey, what is up guys? It's the TheInfinityBreaker bringing you guys a brand new deck profile. This one is really long awaited. Set 13 came out in December and it's already March, so I apologize for the delay. If you've been keeping up with the channel, I did post a long update about why I had waited. One, if you can tell by the higher quality, I finally got a new camera. One that I used to use back in film school that I'm very comfortable with, so really nice to finally have higher quality content. Maybe I can get back to doing some more films and skits involved, kind of like the one with Trickstar that you guys saw before. I also wanted to wait because they increased the deck limit. We went from 46 cards to 50, and that really helped Jheva specifically. So I figured if I'm going to make the video, I might as well wait. This is actually the third time I've recorded this video. So I've tried to do it, but we're finally here. So honestly, let's get right on into it. But before we start, just wanted to show off my Trickstar sleeves made by my amazing fiance. If you guys want sleeves like this, link down in the description to her website. She has plenty of pre-made styles, some you've already seen before, along with commissions. She does have commissions. You can check her rules. Just be kind, of course. Alright, let's get on into the deck profile. So to start off with my ride line, I still have Surprise Egg, Reno, Ryu, and of course Jheva. I'm just keeping the normal Jheva ride line, honestly. I did try having Trickstar as the starter at one point, but honestly, the draw from Surprise Egg just comes in handy a lot, especially because I suck at my dice roll, so a lot of the time I end up going second. So that extra draw is nice. You can do, it's personal preference really, but I personally think having the Surprise Egg as the starter is just a better option. So just our normal Jheva ride line. So along with the Jheva and the ride deck, I'm running an additional 3 copies of Nirvana Jheva. She is our vanguard of the deck, and you want a Persona ride. You're not going to be hitting Persona ride as much as you used to because we now have a 50 card deck, but you still want to get Persona ride because Persona ride pushes higher for numbers, and with Virina giving Jheva an extra 10k and triple drive, you just want to get bigger and bigger numbers, so 3 additional copies. And the new ace, the new star of this deck, I run 4 copies of Blazing Holy Sword Equip Virina. Did pull the double frame rare, so really happy about that. Virina is amazing. It's insane. It's so many things. This unit is, it was something that the deck just really needed, and it really completes the deck. So Virina takes 2 or more Prayer Dragons with different names and Trickstar. So that's its crossover dress condition. When it's in the crossover dress state, Nirvana Jheva and Virina both gain 10k. And then when it stands by your Vanguard's ability, you can counterblast 1, stand all of your talismans and Prayer Dragons, so all your Trickstars, Virinas, and Prayer Dragons. And if this unit has 5 or more original dress, retire all of your opponent's Dragon Tree markers and rear guards. So it's a board wipe, gives power to Jheva along with triple drive. I think I forgot to mention that. And it's multi-attack. Virina is the MVP. It is insane. It took Messianic Lord Blaster's sword and just went burr. So, of course, I'm going to max out on copies of it. It's insane. I love this card. And a spicy tech I'm running is 1 copy of Braum Virina. So I think most people did choose to cut this card out. I did at first too. Then I think I saw someone's deck profile that took Jheva and actually did fairly well with it and kind of topped. So I was like, I kind of inspired this deck profile around theirs a little bit, took what they did and then kind of threw in some of my own changes. But they were running the 1 Braum. And honestly, I was like, you know, I like your style. So yeah, shout out to you. But Braum Virina is still a very heavy hitter. It's going to be 33k on its own, Persona Ride 43k. Along with that, just pressure of retiring an opponent's column. So just still a really good card. And I honestly like just still having it, even if it's at 1 copy. And I'm still running 3 copies of Mirror's Virina. So I've never used Mirror's Virina's countercharge so much before. But because of Jheva's skill and Straw's skill, you're using about 2 counterblasts a turn. So Mirror's countercharge is coming up way, way more. It comes in handy a lot. Mirror's is still just a really good card because when it attacks, it's going to be 20k. And you can still draw a card if you choose to. So, great card. I did get a FFR of it too, trying to hollow this deck out a little more. So yeah, still a great card. Another spicy tech, I'm running 1 copy of Garo Virina. Garo still puts pressure. Like, yes, we do have the Prayer Dragon that basically turns any Virina into Garo, but still having Garo on the field is pretty nice because Garo's going to be 20k at all times, and it's guard restrict. So, just another spicy tech option. And to finish up our crossover dress units, I run the 1 Vils Virina. Fetching a different crossover dress unit from the drop recycles, that's good. 15k shield, 15k base, still a good card. I kind of miss running it at 2, but to be honest, there's a new promo coming out that kind of does what Vils does on its own, so kind of testing out running lower copies of it. So far, I think it's been fine. So, still like to have it though. Got an F frame rare of him too. And to finish up with our Virinas, of course, I'm still running yo boy, the Go Virina Arcs. I love this card. Counterblast, draw 2, Flying Pot of Greed. It's one of the OGs. So you can also search it out with Stragaglio too, which comes in handy. So I had to run the Arcs. I was very sad because there was a point when I wasn't running the Arcs, but finally got to put it back in the deck once they changed the deck limit size. So the Go is back. That's all of our Virinas. We're going to move on to our Prayer Dragons. I'm running 4 copies of probably the best Prayer Dragon there is, Aparargia. So, Aparargia is part of the new Blazing Heavily Prayer Dragons, and this card is amazing. So, when it is placed anywhere other than the deck, you can Soul Blast 1, discard a card from your hand, call a different Prayer Dragon from your deck. Comes in handy so much. If you want Grailmere or any other Prayer Dragon, you can just call it using the skill. You don't have to use its skill all the time, but it's really, really good. And not only that, when it becomes an original dress, you get to draw a card, and your outer dress, your Virina, cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects until the end of their next turn. It helps protect your cards, so all those times where your Virinas would get sent to the bottom of the deck or bound, they are fine now. It turns everything into Vils, pretty much. Aparargia is amazing. And then I just run 1 copy of Kalmadoc. This is another one of the Blazing Heavily Prayer Dragons. So what it does is when it becomes an original dress, you Soul Blast 1, the Virina that has this as an original dress becomes Garo Virina. Your opponent must call 2 or more when it attacks. Really good. I did try running more than 1 copy at one point, but since I have Garo in the deck now, and this, it's like, okay, 1 is fine. Just really, really nice card. Anything becomes Garo Virina. Then I'm still running 2 copies of probably the next best Prayer Dragon there is, Grailmere. Grailmere is pretty much the only Virina searcher we have. Soul Blast 1, check top 7, add 1 Virina to your hand, send another to the drop, shuffle the rest back. Still good, it filters the deck, and you want to get Straw Virina, so if you don't get Straw Virina, this is your way of getting it. It helps you get more Virinas to your hand. And it's really what searches the deck. It's pretty much the only Virina searcher there is besides Stragaglio, but that's only overdress units. So I know a lot of people run 3 or 1. I think 2 is okay. If I could run more, I would, but the deck is still a little limited on spaces just because I'm running so many tech choices. But still a great card. And only 1 Stragaglio. This one can hurt a little bit. I did want to run 2. And honestly, there's cards you could take out if you do want to run 2. Basically, I want to run 2 because it's your Trickstar searcher. Yes, it can search arcs, but you mostly want it for Trickstar. And the downside about Stragaglio is You can only activate its skill to search an overdress unit or a trick star when it's placed from your hand. So we're calling from the drop and the deck a lot now. It just avoids its skill a lot of the time, so it doesn't come up as much. But it still has the great skill of when it becomes an original dress, you can counterblast one and call another trick star from drop. So that's why we run it. It helps do more combos and plays. And probably one of the flashiest cards I've run, I run one copy of Drawhoss. So Drawhoss's skill is, when it's placed, counterblast one, retire another unit you control, and then call up to 2 Blazing Heavily dragons from your deck or drop. This is pretty much how you're going to get Straw Virina's board wipe if you really want to go into it. This is also just a really good card for just getting more pieces out if you want to do a bunch of crossover dresses. Also, if you did retire a crossover dress unit, with this, for its counterblast and retire skill, you get to draw a card, so that's nice too. It makes up for losing one of your units. So, I really use it just to do my flashy 5 original dress play to nuke the board. But it's also just a good combo piece there. Get 2 more Prayer Dragons, do a couple crossover dresses, comes in handy. It definitely works in the deck. I think 1 copy is all you really need though. And then to finish off the Prayer Dragons, the last of the Blazing Heavily Prayer Dragons, I run 1 copy of Kalmadok. Kalmadok's skill is, when it becomes an original dress, it gains 2,000 power pretty much for every of your opponent's grade. So if they're at grade 3, it's going to gain 6,000 power. If it's grade 2, 4,000. Just like that. And if you're playing against, Grieful Gila, it's going to get higher. That's pretty much was made just for that. But I wanted to run it just so that I could run all the Blazing Heavily Dragons. So it makes awkward numbers a lot of the time, which can really help. And then for the last of my grade 1s, just 3 perfect guards. Nothing much to say there. And of course it wouldn't be a Nirvana Jheva deck if we weren't running 4 copies of our partner, our Trickstar. 4 copies of Trickstar. Got the 4 different arts. The Japanese one that I was running before is finally going to be printed in English. It's going to be one of the promos at Springfest, I believe. Can't wait to get that and have it in my deck. So, for Trickstar. Trickstar is our partner, permanently glued to our soul, makes this entire deck working as possible. We all love Trickstar here. Isn't that right, Trickstar? Alright, now we're just moving on to our triggers. So, I'm running 4 copies of Burning Flail. The soul skill actually comes up a lot now. You're using a lot of soul in this deck, so sometimes it's good to plop it down, put it into the soul just to build up some more soul, and honestly, getting 2k to something can help make awkward numbers, so yeah, pretty nice. And then I'm running an additional 4 crit to make 8 crit total. Like to pull crits, like to stack crits on Straw Virina when it has its guard restrict, so yeah. And then 4 heal. And I actually opted to go with draw triggers this time, so we have a lot of key pieces in this deck, so we just want to draw and search. The deck can search a lot, but the draw triggers just make it a little easier. They're always good discard fodder too, and 10k shield can come in handy, so draws are pretty good. Then our 1 Dragveda OT, restanding is broken, especially when you can get multiple restands. Yeah. You can, I just think this is the better option. There's red and blue, but, who doesn't want to restand their Vanguard? And then I run 1 Elementaria to finish off our perfect guards, especially because there's a lot of grade 4s out right now. And finally, the last tech choice is 1 copy of Chakrabarthi Dance Cyan. This is to go against some meta decks like Chrono Jet, basically, or Messiah. So whenever your Virina would be sent to the bottom of the deck or bound, this is also good against Youthberg too. So sent to the bottom of the deck or bound, you're going to send all the original dress and the Virina card to the drop, and then all Trickstars are going to go to your hand. So it helps you not lose all those cards. So you can still use them because they're going to go to your drop, and then you're going to get Trickstar in your hand. Also, when you play this card, if you play it in the order zone when you have a Nirvana Vanguard, draw a card, or if you discard it for Jheva's skill, draw a card. It's nice. It's just a 1-copy tech choice. It's like, if it comes up in the matchup, yeah, you can either discard it to draw a card or you can play it to protect your units. So that's pretty much it. You can cut this. It's honestly just to go against some of the meta, but still nice. It's extra protection, which we love protection. But yeah, that is the deck. The deck is complete. I'm going to say that. The deck is complete. The only thing I could really imagine them giving us to really complete this deck, like, yeah, that's it, they can't do any more, is a dedicated way to search Virinas. Like, if you just call it the card, you can search any Virina. That might be a little busted, though. So, a Virina searcher, or honestly, a way that we could play some of the older overdress units, like Esper Aurelia, in the deck, without having to, use Cladding Prayer. Even though I love Cladding Prayer. But yeah, I think overdress, crossover dress, Trickstar, Virina, and Nirvana, this is complete. This deck does do very well, and seeing where it came from at the beginning, yeah, it's incredible, because yeah, Jheva was memed on for the longest time. I still played it, but it's come a very long way to the point where, yeah, it's a rogue contender, and it can go up against the meta if you play it right. It's one of my favorite decks. I started with Nirvana at the start of Overdress because, honestly, Bastion was too expensive. And I just grew to love the deck. So, yeah, I'm very happy with where the deck is now. And I love playing it. It's still my main deck at locals. Sorry, Blaster Blade. But, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Infinity Breaker. And new videos are coming out. So, see you guys then. Link down in the description if you want to commission my fiance for some sleeves. Yeah. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.